Hello everyone, and welcome. In today's Barbering Chapter 12 Men's Facial Massage and Treatments Practice Session, we'll go through 181 updated questions designed to help you prepare for the exam. Why each question appears, pause the video first. Choose the answer you believe is correct, then comment your answer below before resuming the video to see the correct answer. Keep track of your score as you move through the questions. And let's get started. Flashcard 1. 3 of the subdermal system associated with the performance of facial treatments. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the muscles, nerves, and arteries of the head, face, and neck.
Flashcard 2.
Muscles. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is fibrous tissues that have the ability to stretch and contract to produce all body movement. Flashcard 3. Nerves. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is long, white, fibrous cords that act as message carriers from the brain and spinal column to and from all parts of the body.
Flashcard 4.
Arteries. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is elastic, muscular, thick-walled blood vessels that transport blood under high pressure. Flashcard 5. Veins. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is thin-walled vessels that contain valves that keep the blood flowing to the heart and prevent it from flowing backwards. Flashcard 6. It's important to have a good understanding of. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is massage manipulations and facial treatments can affect all of these systems' location and function, so you can perform facial services safely and effectively. Flashcard 7. Effects of a facial service on a muscle can be calming or stimulating, depending on the modality used. These modalities are pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is massage, hand and electric currents, high frequency, galvanic, and microcurrent light rays, infrared and ultraviolet, low-level light therapy or low-level laser therapy LLT, and light-emitting diodes LED heat, lamp, HAPS, infrared devices, lasers moist heat, steamers and hot towels nerve impulses, through the nervous system and motor points chemicals, certain acids, salts, and microdermabrasion.
Flashcard 8.
Nerve stimulation. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is causes muscles to expand and contract. Heat and moist heat on the skin causes relaxation and cold causes contraction. May be accomplished by massage, hand and electric currents, high frequency and microcurrent light rays, infrared, LLT, and LED heat, lamp, caps, infrared devices, lasers chemicals, certain acids, salts, and microdermabrasion. Flashcard 9. 12 pairs of cranial nerves, and all are connected to a part of the brain surface. When performing treatments, pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the cranial nerves of the most interest are the 5th, 7th, and 11th cranial nerves.
Flashcard 10.
5th cranial nerve act trifacial or trigeminal nerve. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the chief sensory nerve of the face that also serves as the motor nerve that controls chewing. Flashcard 11. 7th cranial nerve, facial nerve. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the sensory motor nerve that controls motions of the face, scalp, and neck and sections of the palate and tongue. Flashcard 12. 11th cranial nerve, accessory nerve. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the motor nerve that controls the motion of the neck muscles. Flashcard 13. Spinal cervical nerves can also be affected by facial massage. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is originates at the spinal cord, and their branches supply the muscles and scalp at the back of the head and neck.
Flashcard 14.
Arteries are vessels that. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is transport oxygenated blood from the heart to all parts of the body. Flashcard 15. The primary arteries affected by facial massage are as follows. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is common carotids, external maxillary facial artery, superficial temporal, occipital, posterior, auricular. Flashcard 16. Common carotid. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the main source of blood supply to the head, face, and neck, located at the side of the neck. Flashcard 17. External maxillary facial artery. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is supplies blood to the lower portion of the face, mouth and nose. Flashcard 18. Superficial temporal. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is a continuation of external carotid, supplies muscles, skin, and scalp on the front, side, and top of the head. Flashcard 19. Posterior auricular. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is supplies blood to the scalp behind and above the ears. Flashcard 20. Veins transport deoxygenated blood from various parts of the body to the heart. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the deoxygenated blood from the head, face, and neck returns to the heart through the internal jugular and external jugular veins located on each side of the neck. Flashcard 21. Facials are. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is stimulating and relaxing.
Flashcard 22.
Facial massages involves. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the manual or mechanical, external manipulation of the face and neck, and requires a skillful touch when using the hands or an electric massager. Flashcard 23. Each massage movement is performed to obtain a specific result, and the benefits to be gained will depend on the. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is type of massage movement used, amount of pressure used, direction of the movement, duration of the massage manipulation.
Flashcard 24.
Skillfully applied massage influences. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the structures and functions of the body, either directly or indirectly. Flashcard 25. The immediate effect of massages. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is first noticed on the skin. Flashcard 26. The part being massaged reacts with an increase in its functional activities. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is such as more active circulation, secretion, nutrition, or excretion. Flashcard 27. There is scarcely an organ of the body that is not affected. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is favorably by specific massage. Flashcard 28. Following are some beneficial results that may be obtained by proper massage. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the skin and all its structures are nourished. Muscle fiber is stimulated and strengthened. The nerves are soothed and rested. Fat cells are reduced. Circulation of blood is increased. The activity of the skin and scalp glands is stimulated. The skin is rendered soft and pliable. Pain is sometimes relieved. Flashcard 29. Motor point. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is point on the skin where nerves that control the underlying muscle are located. Flashcard 30. When electrical stimulation is applied to the nerve through the electrodes, pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the muscle responds by contracting. Flashcard 31. Every muscle has a motor point. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is this is important to know because in order to obtain the maximum benefit from electrotherapy treatments, you must consider the motor points that affect the underlying muscles of the face and neck. Flashcard 32. The location of a motor point. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is varies among individuals due to differences in body structure. Flashcard 33. Trigger point. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is a tender area in a muscle caused by a localized knot or spasm in the muscle fiber that can radiate pain to other locations in the body. Flashcard 34. A trigger point exhibits hypersensitivity to. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is electrical stimulations and pressure, which makes it more responsive to electrotherapy or massage. Flashcard 35. When used in a facial massage, pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is gentle but direct pressure can be applied to a trigger point for 30 seconds, followed by stroking movements to help relieve painful areas. Flashcard 36. FLU ridge. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is light, continuous stroking massage movement applied with palms in a slow and rhythmic manner over the skin, no pressure. The palms are used over large surfaces and the fingertips work the small surfaces, such as those around the eyes. Flashcard 37. Effleurage is frequently used on the. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is forehead, face, and scalp for its soothing and relaxing effects and to apply lotions and creams. Flashcard 38. Effleurage massage 1. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is to correctly position the fingers for stroking movement. Slightly curve the fingers with just the cushions of the fingertips touching the skin. Do not use the ends of the fingertips for these massage movements since they are pointier than the cushions and the fingernails may scratch the client's skin. Flashcard 39. Effleurage massage 2. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is when using the palms for the stroking movement, keep your hands loose and your wrists and fingers flexible. Curve your fingers and palms to conform to the shape of the area being massaged. Flashcard 40. Tetrasage. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is kneading movement that is performed with light, firm pressure. Flashcard 41. Tetrasage massage 1. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is in this movement, the skin and flesh are grasped between the thumb and fingers. As the tissues are being lifted from their underlying structures, they are being gently squeezed, rolled, or pinched with a light, firm pressure. Flashcard 42. Tetrasage exerts an invigorating effect on the area being massaged. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is these kneading movements provide deeper stimulation to the muscles, nerves, and skin glands and also help to improve circulation. Flashcard 43. Tetrasage massage 2. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is although kneading movements are usually used on large surfaces such as the shoulders and back, the fingertips can be used to gently knead the cheeks with light pinching movements. Flashcard 44. Friction. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is deep rubbing movement requiring pressure on the skin with the fingers or palm while moving them over an underlying structure. Flashcard 45. Friction has been proven to be beneficial to the circulation and glandular activity of the skin. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is light circulation friction is used on the face and neck. Circular friction movements with more pressure can be used during scalp massages. Flashcard 46. Percussion or tap movement. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is consists of short quick tapping, slapping, or hacking movements. Flashcard 47. Percussion movements. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is stimulate the nerves to tone the muscles and impart a healthy glow to the part being massaged. Flashcard 48. Percussion is the most stimulating form of massage. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is it needs to be performed with care and discretion. Flashcard 49. Tapping movements are: pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the gentlest form of tap movement and can be used in facial massage by bringing the fingertips down against the skin in rapid succession with even force.
Flashcard 50.
Slapping movements. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the lower points to mid-points of the fingers are used to strike the skin lightly and rapidly. One hand follows the other and should lift the skin slightly with each slapping stroke. Flashcard 51. Hacking or chopping movements. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is employs the outer edges of the hands to strike against the skin in alternate succession. Hacking should only be on the back and shoulders.
Flashcard 52.
Vibration. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is rapid shaking movement over the skin section with the fingertips or an electric massager or vibrator. Both methods are used to transmit a trembling movement to the skin and its underlying structures. Flashcard 53. Vibration should be used. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is sparingly and not exceed a few seconds duration on any one area to avoid overstimulation. Flashcard 54. Deep vibration with a mechanical vibrator or massager can. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is stimulate blood circulation and increase muscle tone. Flashcard 55. When massaging areas of the head, face, or neck, any pressure employed should be applied in an upward direction to avoid loss of skin resiliency. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is this rule should be followed in all massage manipulations, whether they are intended to stimulate, relax, or soothe the skin. Flashcard 56. When applying rotary manipulations, pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is any pressure used should be applied on the upward swing of the circular movement. Flashcard 57. What are crucial to determining the method and duration of massage manipulations to be used? Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is a thorough client consultation and accurate skin analysis. Flashcard 58. Be sure that the direction of the massage movement is from the insertion of the muscle towards its origin. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the insertion of a muscle is the attachment point to a movable bone, and the origin of a muscle is the attachment point to an immovable bone. Flashcard 59. Perform massage manipulations. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is systematically and rhythmically.
Flashcard 60.
Curve the fingertips or palms. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is to conform to the area being massaged. Flashcard 61. Gradually reduce the pressure. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is When removing your hands from the client's face to gently feather off from the skin surface.
Flashcard 62.
When facial hair is present, direct massage movements in the direction of the beard growth. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is massage manipulations that go against or across the grain may cause discomfort to the client. Flashcard 63. The frequency of facial or scalp massages depends on the condition of the skin, age of the clients, and the condition being treated. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, generally speaking, a normal skin or scalp can be kept in good condition with weekly treatments and proper home care.
Flashcard 64.
Massage should always be performed in. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is moderation and based on good judgment. Flashcard 65. Massage should never be recommended or employed when any of the following conditions are present. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is acute inflammation of the skin, severe skin lesion, pus containing pimples, high blood pressure, skin infections.
Flashcard 66.
In addition to employing hands for massages, appliances, electrical currents, microdermabrasion, and light rays can be used to enhance a facial treatment service. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, however, thorough training in the application of any of these modalities and licensure compliance is required before using them on a client. Flashcard 67. Electric massager. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, most often used in barbershops, is a handheld unit that transmits vibrations through the barber's hand and fingertips to the client's skin muscles.
Flashcard 68.
This type of electric massager is typically used over heavy muscle tissue such as the scalp and shoulders to produce a succession of stimulating impulses. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, it has an invigorating effect on muscle tissue, increased glandular activity, and stimulates the skin and scalp. When used correctly with a light and gentle touch, electric massager can also be used to perform vibratory facials. Flashcard 69. Following are some rules for using an electric massager. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, do not use a massager when the client has a known weakness of the heart or on a client with fever, abscesses, or skin inflammations. Regulate the number of vibrations to avoid overstimulation. Do not use the massager for too long in any one spot. Vary the amount of pressure in accordance with the results desired. Do not apply vibrations over the upper lips as it may cause discomfort. For soothing and relaxing effects, use slow, light vibrations. For stimulating effects, use light vibrations of moderate speed and duration. To reduce fatty tissues, use moderately timed, fast vibrations with firm pressure. Flashcard 70. Rush machine. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is an electrical appliance with interchangeable brushes that attach to the rotating head of the unit. Brushing is a form of mechanical exfoliation. Is used to mechanically cleanse, stimulate, and remove dead cells from the skin surface. Flashcard 71. Many brush machine models are available from a variety of manufacturers. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: typically, these units have 2 or 3 brush attachments of various bristle textures that can be attached and rotated at different speeds, depending on the features of the unit. Flashcard 72. Brush machine guidelines. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: apply a moisturizing cleansing cream or lotion to the face before using the brush machine. Use the softer brush attachments on facial skin. Always thoroughly clean and disinfect brushes between clients. Do not apply pressure. Allow the brush and rotating head to do the work with the bristles remaining straight. Remoisten the brush as needed during the process. Drier skin requires a slow, steady rotation. Thicker, oily skins may tolerate a higher speed. Flashcard 73. Hard towel cabinet. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: ensure a ready supply of warm towels for facial services. Flashcard 74. To prepare towels, fold the towel lengthwise and then in half. Run hot water over the towel, wring out the excess water, and place the towel in the cabinet. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: towels can also be prepared for a witch hazel steam by soaking dampened towels in a hot water witch hazel bath prior to wringing. Flashcard 75. Facial steamer. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is an electrical appliance that produces and projects moist, uniform steam that can be positioned over sections of the head or face for softening and cleansing purposes. Flashcard 76. The steam warms the skin, stimulates circulation, induces the flow of sebum and sweat, and has an antiseptic effect on problematic skin. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: also helps soften follicle accumulations such as comedones, making them easier to extract. Flashcard 77. Professional steamers are available in various sizes and models, from tabletop units to facial machine components. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: most units have a heating coil that boils water and a pipe through which the steam flows so it can be directed toward the skin area. Flashcard 78. 2 guidelines for facial steamer use. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: use only distilled or filtered water to avoid mineral and calcium deposits, which can damage the unit in general. Administer steam at the beginning of the facial treatment. Flashcard 79. Steamers may also be used in place of hot towels for scalp treatments. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: when positioned over the scalp, the steam softens the skin, increases perspiration, and softens accumulations in the follicles for more thorough cleansing during shampoo.
Flashcard 80.
Facial treatments performed with facial machines. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is that produce electrical currents are a form of electrotherapy. Flashcard 81. The 2 modalities most often used in facial treatments are. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is high-frequency current and galvanic currents. Other currents, such as faradic or sinusoidal current, should only be performed by a licensed physician.
Flashcard 82.
Electrodes. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: each modality requires an electrode to apply and direct the current to the client's skin.
Flashcard 83.
A high-frequency appliance requires. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: only one electrode.
Flashcard 84.
Galvanic machines have 2 electrodes. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: 1 positive and 1 negative, to conduct the flow of electricity through the body. Flashcard 85. Positive electrode anode. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is red with a plus sign plus.
Flashcard 86.
Negative electrode cathode. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is black with a minus sign.
Flashcard 87.
High-frequency current Tesla current is characterized by. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is a high rate of oscillation that is used for both scalp and facial treatments.
Flashcard 88.
Although it is sometimes called the violet ray because of its color, pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is there are no ultraviolet rays in high-frequency current.
Flashcard 89.
The primary actions of high-frequency current are thermal and antiseptic. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is its rapid vibrations do not produce muscular contractions or chemical changes, so the physiological effects are either stimulating or soothing, depending on the method of application. Flashcard 90. The electrodes for high-frequency machines are made of glass or metal. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is their shapes vary from the flat facial electrode to the rake-shaped electrodes. Flashcard 91. As the current passes through the glass electrode, tiny violet sparks are emitted. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is all high-frequency treatments should start with a mild current that is gradually increased to the required strength. The length of the treatment depends upon the condition to be treated.
Flashcard 92.
For general facial or scalp treatments, pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is no more than 5 minutes should be allowed. Flashcard 93. The high-frequency machines is a versatile tool that can benefit the client's skin in the following ways. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is stimulates blood circulation, helps to oxygenate the skin, increased glandular activity aids in elimination and absorption, increases cell metabolism, promotes antiseptic and germicidal action, generates a warm feeling that has a relaxing effect on the skin.
Flashcard 94.
Following are guidelines for cleaning and disinfecting high-frequency electrodes. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: wipe the glass with a soap and water solution. Do not immerse the electrode directly in water. Place only the end of the electrode into a disinfectant solution for 20 minutes. Rinse with cool water, but do not let the metal parts get wet. Dry with a clean towel and store in a clean, covered container. Flashcard 95. High-frequency application methods. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: always follow the manufacturer's directions for the proper use of high-frequency current. Flashcard 96. The two primary methods are: pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is direct surface application and indirect application. Direct surface application is the method most conducive for use in the barber shop. Flashcard 97. Direct surface application performed with the mushroom or rake-shaped electrode for its calming and germicidal effect on the skin. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: the heat that is generated has a sedative effect, and oily or acne-prone skin can benefit from its germicidal action. Germicidal benefits of high-frequency current are produced only with the direct application method. Direct surface application can be used on clean, dry skin, over facial creams, or over gauze for a sparkling effect. Flashcard 98. Indirect application performed with the client holding the wire glass electrode between both hands. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: to prevent sharp, the power is turned on after the client holds the electrode firmly and turned off before the electrode held by the barber or stylist. Indirect application of the current produces both a toning and stimulating effect on the skin and is ideal for aging or sallow skin. Flashcard 99. The galvanic machine converts alternating current received from an outlet into a direct current. The electrons then flow continuously in the same direction. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: this produces a relaxation response that can be regulated to target specific nerve ending in the epidermis. Flashcard 100. Galvanic current is used to pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: produce chemical disincrustation and ionic interferesis reactions in the skin. This treatment is beneficial for oily skin problems and acne. Flashcard 101. The galvanic machine has two poles, negative and positive plus. Both are used for different effects. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: several types of electrodes are available for the galvanic machine. The most popular are the disincrustator and the ionizing roller. Flashcard 102. Galvanic current accomplishes two basic tasks. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is 1. Disincrustation, 2. Interferesis. Flashcard 103. Disincrustation used to facilitate deep pore cleansing. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: to ensure proper contact, each electrode is wrapped in wet cotton and the active electrode is applied to the oily areas of the face for 3 to 5 minutes. The inactive electrode is held by the client in the right hand or is attached to a pad placed in contact with the client's right shoulder. To perform disincrustation, an acid-based solution is applied to the skin's surface. During the process, a chemical reaction takes place that helps to emulsify or liquefy sebum and waste that can be easily extracted with gentle pressure. Flashcard 104. Introphoresis, the process of using galvanic current to enable ion-containing water-soluble solution to penetrate the skin. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is negative current applied to the skin allows products with negative ions to penetrate the skin. Conversely, positive current applied to the skin allows products with positive ions to penetrate. Products suitable for introphoresis applications will be labeled as such by the manufacturers. Flashcard 105. The process of ionic penetration takes place in two forms. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is carophoresis and anaphoresis. Flashcard 106. Carophoresis is the use of the positive pole anode to introduce an acid pH product, such as an astringent solution, into the skin. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is products that have a slightly acidic pH are considered positive. The positive pole may also be used to close the follicles or pores after the treatment, decrease redness, as in mild acne, prevent inflammation after comedone and blemish treatment by decreasing blood supply, soothe nerves, and harden tissues. Flashcard 107. Anaphoresis is the use of the negative pole cathode to force an alkaline pH product, such as a disincrustation lotion, into the skin. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is products with an alkaline pH are considered to be negative. The negative pole may be used to stimulate the circulation of blood to dry skin, stimulate nerves, and soften tissues. The procedure for ionization is the same as that used in the disincrustation process. Flashcard 108. Microcurrent is a type of galvanic treatment that uses a very low level of electrical current for many applications in skincare. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is it is best known for toning the skin and producing a lifting effect on aging skin, which lacks elasticity. Flashcard 109. Microdermabrasion. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is a form of mechanical exfoliation that involves spraying aluminum oxide or other microcrystals across the skin surface to exfoliate dead cells. These exfoliated cells are then vacuumed off by means of suction. Flashcard 110. Microdermabrasion produces fast, visible results and can be used to treat surface wrinkles and aging skin. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is although the machine and service are not standard features of the most barbershops, they may be found in some high-end men's spas or grooming parlors. Flashcard 111. Light therapy. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is process of using light exposure to treat certain conditions of the skin and scalp. Ultraviolet rays, infrared rays, and more currently, LEDs are used to produce different therapeutic effects on the skin. Flashcard 112. Ultraviolet rays lamps. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is Ultraviolet rays are the shorter wavelength end of the visible spectrum and create different effects depending on the type of ultraviolet bulb. Flashcard 113. UVA rays. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is galvanic rays. Flashcard 114. UVB rays. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is therapeutic rays. Flashcard 115. UVC rays. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is germicidal rays. Flashcard 116. Ultraviolet lamps may be used to treat. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is acne, tinea, seborrhea, or dandruff conditions. Flashcard 117. Infrared ray lamps. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is generally produce a soothing and beneficial type of heat that extends for some distance into the tissues of the body. Flashcard 118. Contraindications for electrotherapy. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is any product, procedure, or treatment that should be avoided because it may cause undesirable side effects or be harmful to the individual. Flashcard 119. Barbers do not treat skin diseases. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, however, they should be able to recognize various skin disorders that need to be referred to a physician. Flashcard 120. Facials performed in the barbershop are considered to be either. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is preservative or corrective treatments. Flashcard 121. Preservative treatments. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is help maintain the health of facial skin through correct cleansing, toning, and massage. Flashcard 122. Corrective treatment. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is used to correct skin conditions such as dryness, oil, blackheads, aging lines, and minor acne. Flashcard 123. Any form of massage, facial treatments help to. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is increase circulation and metabolism, relax the nerves, activate skin glands, maintain muscle tone, and improve skin texture and complexion. Flashcard 124. Skin types is primarily based on the. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is amount of oil that is produced in the follicles from the sebaceous glands and the amount of lipids found between the cells. Flashcard 125. 4 basic skin types. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is normal, dry, oily combination. Any of these can be sensitive to products, irritation, or the environment. Flashcard 126. Dry skin, alopecia skin. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: does not produce enough sebum to prevent the evaporation of cell moisture. This leaves the skin in a dehydrated state. Flashcard 127. When analyzing using a magnifying lamp, dry skin may be flaky or dry-looking with small fine lines and wrinkles. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: the objective of a facial treatment for dry skin is to stimulate oil production for protection of the skin surface. Hydrating the skin with moisturizer and humectants, in addition to drinking plenty of water, can help minimize the negative effects of dryness and dehydration. Flashcard 128. Normal skin. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: has a good oil-water balance. Follicles are normal size and usually free of blemishes. Maintenance and preservative care is the goal for this type of skin. Flashcard 129. Oily skin. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: characterized by excess sebum production and may appear shiny or greasy. Follicles are larger and contain more oil. Flashcard 130. Oily skin requires more. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: cleansing and exfoliation than other skin types, yet over-cleansing can strip and irritate the skin. If the skin is over-dried, it's not balanced and the body will try to produce additional oil to compensate for the dryness on the surface. Proper exfoliation and a water-based hydrate will help keep oily skin clean and balanced. Flashcard 131. Combination skin. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: displays areas that are both dry and oily in different areas of the face. The T-zone is the section of the face that incorporates the forehead, nose, and chin area. These areas tend to be dry. Water-based products work best for combination skin types. Flashcard 132. Wrinkles. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answers are depressions in the skin that have developed from the repetitious muscle action moving in the same direction. Flashcard 133. Other factors that influence the formation of wrinkles include: pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: loosening of the elastic skin fibers due to abnormal tension or relaxation of the facial muscles, shrinking of the skin tissue as a result of aging, excessive dryness of the skin, improper facial care. Flashcard 134. Skin analysis. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: it's preferable to analyze the skin with a magnifying lamp or light, but if not available, a close inspection of the skin will suffice. Flashcard 135. When analyzing the skin, it is important. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: to note the client's skin type and condition and the skin's visible appearance and texture. Flashcard 136. Guidelines for performing a skin analysis and client consultation includes the following: pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: Observe client's skin type, condition, and appearance. Feel the texture. Ask the client questions relating to the skin's appearance and home care routine. Discuss the facial procedure and or treatment plans as well as products that will be used and why. Encourage the client to ask questions during, then determine a course of action together. Record information for the client's next visit. Flashcard 137. Skincare products. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is usually designed for specific skin types or conditions and can be categorized as cleansers, exfoliants, skin tonics, masks, and moisturizers. Flashcard 138. Products such as toners, massage creams, and moisturizers will be used. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is following a shaving service. Flashcard 139. Cleaning products should be. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is mild and easy to rinse from the skin. They are available as face washes, lotions, and creams for different types of skin and skin conditions. Flashcard 140. Face washes are usually. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is water-based products with a neutral or slightly acidic pH effective on oily and carbonation skin types. Flashcard 141. Cleansing lotions are. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is water-based emulsions for normal and combination skin that contain emollients or oils to soften the skin. Flashcard 142. Cleansing cream are. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is heavier oil-based emulsion that are used primarily to dissolve dirt and makeup. Flashcard 143. Skin tonics, which include fresheners, toners, and astringents help. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is to rebalance the pH of the skin and remove product's residue after cleansing. Flashcard 144. Skin tonics have a. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is temporary tightening effect on the skin and vary in strength and alcohol content. Flashcard 145. Fresheners. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is usually have the lowest alcohol content 0 to 4% suitable for dry, mature and sensitive skin. Flashcard 146.
Toners.
Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is designed to tone or tighten the skin and may be used on normal and combination skin types. Alcohol content range of toner is usually 4–15%. Flashcard 147. Astringent. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is contain up to 35% alcohol and may be used for oily and acne-prone skin. Flashcard 148. Moisturizers are formulated to add moisture to the skin surface. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is They contain moisture-attracting humectants and emollients that prevent moisture from evaporating from the skin. Flashcard 149. Moisturizing creams and lotions are available with varying humectants to emollients ingredient ratios for. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is dry, normal, and oily skin types. Flashcard 150. As a barber, you will use moisturizers as. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is one of the final steps in facial and shave services. Flashcard 151. Mechanical exfoliants. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is products used to physically remove dead cell buildup from skin surface and to clear clogged pores. Flashcard 152. Granular scrubs. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is are available in cream, lotion, and gel forms for a variety of skin types. Flashcard 153. Rolling cream. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is thick, smooth, non-granular exfoliating cream, usually pink in color, which has been used in the barber shop for decades. It is applied in a thin layer over the skin and then rolled off with firm, stroking motions. Flashcard 154. As rolling takes place. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is dead cell buildup and trapped impurities are lifted from the skin surface. The skin is left soft and smooth with increased circulation to the surface. Flashcard 155. Rolling cream should only be used on clients with. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is normal, oily, or thick skin. It's not recommended on dry, acne-prone, sensitive, or thin texture skin. Flashcard 156. Chemical exfoliants. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is alpha-hydroxy acids or enzyme heals, loosen, or dissolve dead cell buildup on the skin surface. The use of chemical exfoliants requires advanced training and, in some cases, certification to meet compliance standards. Flashcard 157. Musk. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is helps draw impurities out of pores. Depending on the ingredients, they can tighten, tone, hydrate, soothe, and nourish the skin. They are available in cream, gel, or clay forms and should be used according to skin types. These products differ in their composition and application. Flashcard 158. A mask is usually. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is a setting product, which means that it dries after application, providing complete closure to the environment on the skin, and are known to set until dry, usually about 10 minutes. Flashcard 159. Clay masks. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is used to stimulate circulation and temporarily contract the skin pores. They absorb sebum and are used on oily and combination skin types. Applied with a mask brush, they are allowed to set until dry, usually 10 minutes. Flashcard 160. Cream mask. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: contains humectants and emollients and have a strong moisturizing effect. Consequently, they do not dry hard like clay mask do and are often in dry skin types. Flashcard 161.
Gel mask.
Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: hydrators and soothing ingredients to add moisture to sensitive or dehydrated skin for more supple appearance. Flashcard 162. Paraffin wax masks. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: employ the pack application method. Specially prepared paraffin is melted at a temperature that is slightly higher than body temperature before application. The client's skin is prepared by cleansing, followed by the application of a treatment cream. Eye pads are used and the paraffin is applied over gauze to prevent the facial hair from sticking to the wax. Flashcard 163. Dawes. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: often used to hold cream or gel masks in place over the skin, or to prevent paraffin wax from sticking to the skin or facial hair from sticking to the wax. Flashcard 164. High quality mask and packs. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: should feel comfortable while producing slight tingling and tightening sensations. Always follow the manufacturer's directions for preparation, application, and removal of the product from the skin. Flashcard 165.
Massage creams.
Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: creams, lotions, or oils that provide slip during a massage while also softening and moisturizing the skin. Flashcard 166. A general outline of the order in which skincare products will be used during a basic facial treatment in this text is as follows. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: cleansing cream or lotion, exfoliant scrub or rolling cream, massage cream, cleansing cream or lotion, freshener low alcohol content mask or pack, toner or astringent moisturizer. Flashcard 167. Men's skincare products. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: there are many product lines that have been developed specifically with males in mind, and each year more men are experiencing the benefits of using skincare products on a regular basis. Flashcard 168. When choosing men's skincare products for use in the barbershop, pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: it is important to think about the specific characteristics of a product that might appeal to men. For example, some men do not like highly fragranced or multi-step products. Flashcard 169. Creams should be simple, non-fragranced, and absorbent, with a matte finish rather than greasy or oily. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: men also seem prefer simpler routines and multi-purpose products. For example, a skin tonic that also serves as an aftershave may be chosen over the purchase and use of two separate products. Flashcard 170. Although the quality of the products must be the first consideration in choosing products, packaging also needs to be taken into consideration. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: typically, tube packaging is preferred over jars, and size can be a factor for clients who travel a lot. Flashcard 171. Smaller packaged goods can also be used for sharp promotions and marketing strategies. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: as a general rule, any product sold in the barbershop should also be visible on back bars and stations and used during client services. Flashcard 172. Identifying facial treatments. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: as a professional barber, we should be able to provide different facial treatments and products for different skin conditions. Flashcard 173. Basic facials sometimes act as scientific rest facials. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: includes cleansing, exfoliating, massage manipulations, toning, a mask of pack, and moisturizing. These actions helps to stimulate the functions of the skin while exercising or relaxing facial muscles. Flashcard 174. Vibratory facial. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: often performed using a combination of hand massage and electric massage. To avoid heavy contact or pressure that can be uncomfortable for the client, you will need to learn how to apply the electric massager to the client's skin directly and indirectly. Flashcard 175. Direct application. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: performed by attaching the massager to your dominant hand and allowing the vibrations to travel through your fingertips or palms to the client's skin. This method is appropriate for less sensitive facial areas such as the jaw or forehead. Flashcard 176. Indirect application. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: requires that you place your non-dominant palm or fingertips on the client's skin with the hand holding the massager in the top of your hand. In this way, the vibrations will flow through your non-dominant hand before reaching the client's skin, making the vibrations more suitable for delicate areas, such as those around the nose and upper cheek. Flashcard 177. Dry skin is caused by. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is an insufficient flow of sebum from the sebaceous glands. The objective of a facial for dry skin to help moisturize it. Dry skin facials can be supplemented with infrared rays, galvanic current, or high-frequency current to help stimulate sebum products. Flashcard 178. Oily skin and slush or blackheads comedones are caused by. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: hardened masses or sebum formed inside a follicle. The sebaceous material in the follicle darkens when it is exposed to oxygen and forms a blackhead. Flashcard 179. Acne is a disorder of the sebaceous glands. Clients with a serious condition require medical attention. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: if the client is under medical care, the barber may be able to perform facial treatments prescribed by a client's physician as indicated on the prescription depending on state rules and regulations. Flashcard 180. If in doubt, contact the physician and your state barber board directly. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, because acne contains infectious matter, you will need to wear gloves and use only effleurage movements to apply gentle massage or products to avoid spreading infectious matter to other areas of the client's skin. Flashcard 181. With a physician's prescribed treatment plan, barbers are limited to performing the following related procedures. Pause and think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is reduction of oil on the skin through topical application, removal of blackheads using proper procedures, application of medicated or prescribed preparations,